The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Well, the Matariki Festival is well underway now in Auckland City. Happens every year. All sorts of events all over the show. And one chap who's been taking part in some of the festivities and will be tonight, in fact, out at Unitec is Matai Smith, who you might know from the Good Morning Show or Māori TV or all over the place, really, I think. You're doing a bit of children's TV as well, aren't you?
Oh, look, I was doing a bit of children's TV back in the days. Yes, I was doing it, but we've moved on from there just quietly.
And I think I saw a link to you singing and dancing as well with was it Stan Walker?
Oh man, that was a part of Good Morning's Christmas special last year where I got to sing a tune with Stan in it. Yeah.
Obviously multi-talented anyway. That's the point I'm trying to get across here.
Yeah, good on you, Glenn.
This is a good time. This is a good time of the year, and a good time to get involved with multiculture and starting to think about the future of New Zealand. Really, I mean, it's kind of like it's our new year, isn't it?
It is our new year, and it's been interesting seeing sort of conversations in the newspaper and on radio and talkback and all that sort of thing where, I think it's fair to say that Matariki, the Māori New Year, is all about new beginnings. And traditionally we used to, our people used to plant crops, et cetera,
yeah.
And some people still continue that tradition. But it is all about new beginnings, and I think, going back to what I was saying before, with recent conversations, there has been some very sort of heated conversations too about, should we celebrate Matariki as opposed to Queen's birthday and all that sort of, we've seen it in the newspapers. And I'd like to think that with a little bit more education around Matariki and this Māori New Year, it is uniquely ours. It is ours, and I'm not just talking about just purely Māori. This is for New Zealand, for us to celebrate as a nation. So I think once we get a little bit more educated and people sort of get used to the idea of Matariki and it being a Māori New Year, then perhaps we could look at even bigger celebrations. I mean, over the last decade, I think it's fair to say that Matariki has sort of picked up. There's been a bit of renaissance, and it's picked up in terms of, we're seeing posters around bus stops at the moment. People are starting to sort of pick up this particular kaupapa, if you like.
Yeah.
But I think there's still a wee bit to go. So my dream is that, one day we will, as a nation, really take hold of it and celebrate it as New Zealanders.
Yeah, I think so. And as you say, it definitely has picked up over the last few years. You are emceeing an event tonight at Unitec, a talk, a kōrero, with a whole bunch of people looking at how, would you say, this is how to get Māori youth in particular into getting enthused about the future, in particular sustainability and how we're going to go forward as a nation? Absolutely,
yes. So we've got three keynote speakers that are going to be talking about those, the sorts of, talking about what they've been experiencing in their own little worlds. So first up we've got Te Awanui Reader, who many people will be familiar with. Te Awanui is, of course, I guess you could say the main guy, the main singer up the front doing his thing in Nesian Mystic. And the interesting thing about Te Awanui is that whilst, for the past, how many years? 13 plus years, I think this group's been going strong.
Yeah.
The good thing about Te Awanui is that he knew that he was having a successful, musical career back in the day when it was, when Nesian Mystic were at their peak.
Yeah.
He also thought to himself, now, hang on a minute, look to the future. I've got to make sure that, one day we may, go our separate ways, and I have to ensure for my future that I've got something to, step back on. So Awanui actually is doing a business diploma at AUT.
Huh.
So that's I'm going to be talking to him about that, and how he's managed to. Actually, he's doing a master's in business at AUT. It's not just a little certificate.
Yeah.
It's pretty full on when you're talking masters. So that's what I'm going to be talking to him about tonight, and just how what sort of he plans to do with his master's business degree, what sort of projects he wants to get into. Because
there's plenty of opportunity, isn't there? Not only in the traditional business world, the Pākehā business world, but also in iwi enterprises as well.
Absolutely, and I think we're seeing that. I've been fortunate to go along to some years ago and look at Māori enterprises, and they are starting to thrive. And I mean, not just nationally. I'm talking internationally. Some people are coming up with some really innovative ideas that are just going off overseas. So it's a Māori entrepreneurship. Is that the word?
Yep.
Yep, sounded flash.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's starting to really, really strike a chord with, as I say, a lot of businesses, both nationally and internationally as well. And I mean, it's got to be a positive thing for us as a nation.
And sustainability is sort of one of the topics that is thread through these talks at Unitec. And for me, when I think about it, it's really getting back to some core values that possibly existed even before the Pākehā arrived in New Zealand.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about, as you say, sustainability, and I mentioned it earlier, here we are, Matariki, celebrating, and traditionally it was all, planting crops and new beginnings and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess with today's economic climate as well, with recessions and et cetera, a lot of our people are going back to those core values. And I know back home from where I'm from, even on a local marae level, I've got people back home that are starting to to plant the veggies around the marae because things are really hard at the moment. I mean, goodness me, you just walk into the supermarket and see the price of fruit and veggies at the moment. It's just diabolical.
Insane.
Insane. So people are starting to think. I mean, that's on a grassroots level, if you like. But I think Māori that are getting into business are certainly focusing on sustainability, and it's certainly something that I'll be bringing up tonight.
Yeah, and so that's happening tonight at Unitec from 7 p.m.
From 7 p.m.
Yep.
It's a free entry, so we all like that word, that four-letter word starting with F. Free.
Yep, for free, and it's at the B510 in Ratanui Street in Henderson. Oh, it's okay, it's out in Henderson, at the campus out that way. Let's also just quickly, before you go, I want to hear about this this event coming up this weekend. The Super 12 of Haka, is that right?
That's correct. We'll be all familiar with the Super 12 of rugby. Well, I think it's Super 14, 15 now. Can't keep up.
Yeah.
Super 12 of rugby, of Kapahaka rather, is at the Auckland Town Hall this coming weekend. What we've got is basically the... we might be familiar with seeing Kapahaka groups performing traditional Māori performing arts. Well, the difference with Super 12, this particular competition, is that it's a little bit more contemporary. We're allowing groups of 12, it could be 6 males, 6 females, to take to the stage and be a little bit more, I guess, to a certain degree, flamboyant, and there might be a little bit of mix of hip hop dance with, intermixed with a fusion of, of hip hop and Kapahaka, or a fusion of any sort of other culture that they want to, integrate with Kapahaka. So, I guess to a certain degree, it is a contemporary version of the arts. It's not, they don't have to wear the grass skirts or the traditional outfits as well. They can be quite creative, if you like. They're given a little bit more creative license. So it's a competition that has been running back in Gisborne for some years, and they've adapted it here. And so we've got a couple of groups that are going to take to the stage at the Auckland Town Hall from 9 o'clock this coming Saturday.
Very
so if you're not doing anything, come pop along.
Cool, nice one. Matai Smith, thanks so much for joining us on the show, and enjoy the rest of the festivities.
Thanks, buddy.
Cool.
All the best.
And
Cheers.
check out the website, matarikifestival.org.nz. It's got all the details, all the events, and tickets, and also the details for all the free stuff as well.